Hey everybody, we're now in Nimbasa City, home of the fourth gym in Unova, and right when you walk in, the first thing that happens is two Team Plasma members are bullying this old dude who is actually from the daycare center back in Route 3, if I'm not mistaken. So you're gonna save his life and battle this Team Plasma grunt. And he has a Watchhog and a Trubbish, so it's nothing that we haven't seen before. So it's a pretty easy battle. And after this battle is when you get the bike. And the bike is like, it's kind of like the running shoes on steroids. You move even faster. So it's probably, along with the running shoes, like the most useful item in the game. Although, ever since the running shoes have been introduced in Ruby and Sapphire, it's, I don't know. I prefer using the running shoes, to be honest, because the bike usually moves a little bit too fast, so you always like move past the doorway that you want to enter, or you know, stuff like that. Especially when I was recording this walkthrough, which pretty much meant I had to have my phone in front of my DS, so I had to use my index finger to move left, right, up, down. So that was that would explain why I pretty much don't use the bike at all in this run through, other than probably like in Nimbasa City and maybe like Route 5 I try to use it, but then after that I realized like it's so difficult to try to walk through doors when you're moving as fast as you do with a bike, but normally if you play, the bike is like really useful. So, and here is the Battle Subway, and the Battle Subway is like the spiritual successor to the Battle Tower, which I think was introduced in Crystal, and then was also in Emerald, probably Ruby and Sapphire, and has been in every game since. So, and essentially, the Battle Subway or the Battle Tower is a place where you can take your Pokemon and battle with like actually legitimate teams that are computer uh, ran. So it's a really good place to kind of train and practice for like online battling with real people. Because typically, as you play through this game, you'll realize that like other than the gym leaders, a lot of the trainers in this game are not that great. So going to the Battle Subway actually gives you experience with like legitimate teams. So, and that building that I just exited was the Battle Institute, and it's kind of a lot like the Battle Tower or the Battle Subway in the fact that you battle. I think it's either 5 or 7 like consecutive teams, and you get points which go toward a ranking. So it's kind of the same thing. And also with the Battle Subway, you get battle points because each battle that you do is in a train car. So I think it's if you get past, I don't know what the certain number is. I haven't played in a while, but after you get to a certain point, you get battle points, and here you get HM4, which is strength, which the only place thus far you can use strength is back in Route 2, but that's not terribly useful. And we don't have fly, so it would take forever to get back there. But you can also use strength in Route 16, I think it is, which is east of Nimbasa City. And that allows you to get to Lost and Lorne Forest. And then the next area you use surf is like a long way away from here. But anyway, back to the battle points. After you clear a certain number of train cars and a certain number of trainers, you get battle points, and battle points are like money specifically for the Battle Subway, and that's where you can buy like really useful, especially competitively, really useful TMs. Like I think Toxic was exclusive to the Battle Tower in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I think it's the same thing in Black and White. So there's a lot of really useful TMs that you can only get at the Battle Subway, and also items like the like power brace and stuff like that that affect EVs are only available to buy in the battle subway. So if you get into competitive battling, the battle subway is like your best friend. And now we're in one of the two like sports complexes, and Nimbasa City has the big stadium and the small court. I'm sure we're in the small court right now, considering it's a tennis court, and they just have certain trainers that you can battle per day. So depending on the day, you can battle a certain trainer or certain trainers. So, and actually, as you progress through the game, the trainers that you can face on any given day get stronger and stronger. I think, after you defeat the Elite Four for the first time, the trainers in these two areas get up to like level 60 Pokemon. So it's actually not that bad, but in reality, it's probably going to be way out of the way from wherever you are. So to remember, oh, I should go to Nimbasa City and battle those people, like, you're probably not going to do that. But, so here's the big stadium, and it's pretty much just like the small court. So there's not a terrible amount of stuff to do in here right now. And then the next area that we go into is the music theater, which is probably the most useful thing, and by useful I mean useless. It's probably the most useless thing in the entire game. Like, to the point where literally I'm just going to walk in, get whatever TM, which is echoed voice, that some chick inside gives you, and then after that I'm going to leave because it's so fucking pointless and I hate it. But essentially this douchebag comes up and says, hey, let me fucking give you a prop case, which is totally useless and has no effect on anything in the game whatsoever, and is a complete fucking waste of time. And then after that, he says, hey, you should do a Pokemon musical. Or actually, he says, hey, you should decorate your Pokemon. And it's like, okay, so you decorate them, and in reality, it only shows up in the Pokemon musicals, which are completely pointless, and you get nothing worthwhile out of them. And so, like, in real battles, if you decorate your Pokemon, it doesn't show up. So it has no use whatsoever, and it's so annoying. So there's Echoed Voice. Quick thing about Echoed Voice is each time you use it, the power gets greater on the next turn. So if you use Echoed Voice the first time, it has a base power of 40, and then the second time it increases 40, so its base power is 80, and then if you use it a third time in a row, it is 120, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 200. So here Bianca and her dad kind of have a heartwarming conversation where her dad's like, you know what, you should do whatever you want. That type of thing, where it's like, if you hold the butterfly too tight, you'll smush it, and if you hold it not tight enough, it'll fly away, that type of thing. Trying to find the balance in their relationship. And then Elisa comes up and says, hey, you can be a woman and you can, do cool things or whatever. And then he leaves. Quite a touching moment, considering it's like a 2D overhead RPG. And, but yeah, anyway, back to the Pokemon musical. Essentially, it's kind of like contests in Ruby and Sapphire, except even less useful. Because at least in Ruby and Sapphire with the Pokemon contests, like, there was strategy to it. Each move had its own, like, Pokemon contest stat thing. It was either, cool or, whatever else. So, there was actually, like, reasoning behind doing that. So it kind of made sense to do the Pokemon contest because they were kind of cool, to be honest. I mean, they were still kind of stupid, but at least there was a little inkling of strategy in them. Whereas the Pokemon musical, like, literally, you don't get anything for it. Other than, like, oh, here's a fucking outfit, or here's a top hat for your Pokemon. Oh boy, that's fucking stupid. So, I don't know. Just pretty much yet another waste of time. I feel really bad for the developer who had to fucking spend time creating that, and I hope it didn't take them like more than one day, because god damn it, that's a fucking waste of time. So stupid. That makes me so fucking angry. But anyway, and yeah, I don't think I said this, but the Pokemon musical doesn't cover, or it doesn't like transfer into anything else. Like, if you do the Pokemon musical, you don't get any worthwhile items that you can use. Like, you don't even get like a potion. You just get more items for the Pokemon musical. So it's its own thing that doesn't affect the game at all. And it's just pretty much a waste of time. Speaking of wastes of time, the questions that N asks you, you can say yes or no. And in reality, they're very confusing questions. They're kind of convoluted, and you don't really know what the hell he's talking about. And they also don't have any bearing on anything else in the game. Like, if you answer yes to this question, and then later on when he asks you another question, you say no, like, it doesn't affect anything else in the game. So it's totally pointless. And in reality, most people are just probably mashing through the text anyway. And so yeah, anyway, I don't think I've covered this yet, but N doesn't have a set list of Pokemon that he kind of carries through the game. He usually uses Pokemon that you can find near where you battle him. For example, he used Sandile, Darumaka, and Sigilyph so far. And as you may know, those are all Pokemon that you can catch in the Desert Resort and Relic Castle. So, and yeah, previously in Nakreen City, he used Pokemon that you can find in Outer Pinwheel Forest, like Timber and stuff like that. So, anyway, now that we've battled him, that's pretty much all there is to do in Nimbasa City. So, other than kind of scouring around and finding some random items here and there, we're going to go to the Nimbasa City Gym, and that is where Elisa is, and she specializes in electric type Pokemon, and notably she uses an electric flying type called Emolga, which is actually a really badass Pokemon, and mainly her Emolgas are really difficult because they use I forget the attack name, but essentially it attacks and then they switch out. So it's kind of difficult to set things up, such as Leech Seed, with my Servine. So anyway, I'll elaborate more on that in the next video in Nimbasa City Gym.